Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar on autonomous IT operations from app patching to self-running BAU or business as usual. So my name is James Graham, and I am Chief Product Officer here at Remo Free, and I'm just going to kick things off for us today. So before we do get started, I've just got a few quick housekeeping points to make. So first of all, the session is being recorded and we will indeed share the recording with you afterwards if you're watching from the recording. Hello. If you do have any questions, please drop them into the Q&A panel at any time. We will address as many as we can towards the end. Highly unlikely, but if we do happen to run out of time before we answer all of those questions, we'll endeavor to follow up with you directly after the session. So, in terms of speakers today, I've already introduced myself, but I am joined by Serena, who is a product manager here at Remo Free. So say hi, Serena.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Serena. And in terms of the agenda today, so we are coming in hot. So we will start off covering a few things around the reality of today. So setting the scene before I will sort of introduce some of the things that Serena is going to show you in the live demo and give some context around that before I hand over to Serena to do the demo. Once Serena is done, Serena will hand back to me and I will finish us off by relating what we saw to the reality of today. So aligning those to the challenges that IT admins face today. And then I will hand back over to Serena to give us some insight into what's coming a little bit down the line before we dive into some of your questions. And then we will finish off. So that is the agenda for today. We should be done in 30 minutes. And so let me just get us started. So let's drill right in and talk about what the day-to-day actually looks like. So if you run apps through Intune, you already know the shape of this problem, right? So honestly, the four things on this slide are the same four things every admin I speak to brings up, almost word for word. And it starts with version blindness. A new release drops, and there's no clean signal, no this version fixes these CVEs. Here's
James,
what.
do you want to share your slides?
Oh, is it not on the screen? It is on the screen. I'm sure it is.
It's okay, it's just me. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So it starts with the version blindness. A new release drops, and there's no clean signal. No, this version fixes these CVEs. Here's what you're carrying today. You're piecing it together from vendor pages, from security feeds, the odd Teams message. So before you've done anything productive, you've lost an hour just working out where you actually stand. And then after that comes the package and upload grind. So you have to obtain the installer, test it, repackage it, build the Intune app object, upload, replicate the assignments, wire up supersedents for every single release by hand. And it's not that any one of those steps is hard, it's just that you have to do them again and again and again for every app, every release forever until the end of time. And that's the bit that quietly burns out your best people. And furthermore, behind all of that, then you have this version sprawl that's building up in the tenant. Old versions pile up because cleaning them out means stripping supersedence links and unwinding assignments before anything can be deleted. There's nothing worse in Intune. One, you have to delete one app at a time. And two, when you try to delete an app, it's got some dependency relationships or supersedence relationships in there and it just blocks you from doing it. It's really frustrating. So most teams just don't. And the tenant gets messier every quarter. And then sitting on top of all of that, it's compliance pressure. So certifications now demand critical and high CVEs patched inside 14 days, 14, 2 weeks. That's the manual grind. This manual grind we just described cannot hit that cadence reliably, not at scale, not across a real estate. So that's the reality. Those four pain points that every IT team I speak to, the same conversation. And the question is, what would it look like if you didn't have to live in that endless loop? And this is what we think the answer looks like. So the shift goes from do the work each time to set the rules once and let the system run. So four pieces, and you'll see all of them in Serena's demo in a moment. Evergreen Intune templates. So build them once, reuse them from everywhere. You can target groups, deployment options, required versus available, all of that encoded in templates that match how your estate actually delivers apps. The template becomes the source of truth, not your memory. So apply to app subscription. So take a template that you've built, apply it to a single app, or you can apply it to many in a single move. Same governance across the board where it makes sense, and bespoke where you genuinely need it. So you stop policing consistency by hand. Consistency just happens naturally. Assignments and supersedents get handled. So this is the bit that disappears. Push a validated version straight into Intune. Assignments and supersedents are wired up for you. Required or available, the right groups every time. No more clicking through the portal, making sure you didn't forget a ring. Cleaning up old versions. So sweep out the legacy version so users always land on the latest. Old assignments and supersedence relationships unwound automatically for those older versions. So Intune stays tidy without anyone having to set aside a Friday afternoon to go and tidy it up, to clear out old supersedence relationships, unassign those old versions of apps. All of that is handled for you. And then you put all of this together and the manual loop simply isn't the job anymore. You're setting policy and reviewing outcomes. So not packaging, not uploading, not unwinding supersedence at midnight. And really that's the theory. So the much more interesting bit is watching it actually do this on a real tenant. So I'm gonna let Serena show all of that for you. So I'm gonna hand over to Serena, our PM, who's gonna take you through it live. So Serena, over to you.
Thank you, James. So, before I click anything, all these four promises that James made, the evergreen templates, the assignments, and subscriptions for an app, the supersedence mechanism, and the cleanup. It's what keeps your workspace tidy and up to date. And this is what I will be covering in the next demo on a real tenant. So first, I will be creating an evergreen template with all the settings and assignments. Then I will be applying that template to some applications by creating active subscriptions. And then I will be showing you how those applications get pushed into Intune, how the supersedence relationship looks like, and how such applications get installed on the actual device. So let me get started. Everything starts with the Intune deployment templates, and I will start by creating a new template. Let's give it a name. I will just call it Evergreen Productivity Apps. I will be marking this as evergreen. By marking a template as evergreen, we make sure that we activate all the Intune supersedence mechanism, the auto update setting that are very useful when it comes to automated patching. So I will mark it as evergreen. I will be choosing which Intune instance I want to use this template to. So I already have this Contoso instance. In case you have multiple, you can pick yours. Whenever picking the Intune instance, we check that we have your consent and the required permissions in order to manage the deployment for you. The permissions that we are requiring are the group read all. In order to read the security groups, we need the device management apps read write all to handle the assignments and the device management configuration, which will retrieve the filters. The consent is first granted when you create your first template. So upon that, you will be prompted to create the enterprise app registration and granting us those permissions. As you can see, the permissions are already granted on this Intune instance, so I can move on. I can define the phases or the rings, as they're also called, basically the configuration steps in which I want to deploy my application. Currently, we support a single phase now in production, but with our upcoming release, we will be supporting multiple phases for a template. Each phase, let's call it early adopters, can have multiple trigger mechanisms. It can be triggered manually. So a manual will require a human interaction to start the deployment. Immediate will be triggered automatically as the new version of the app is available. Or you can schedule it to start after an X number of days at a specific time after the new version is available. So just to start it immediately, I will choose this one. And then I will want to select my security groups to which the applications handled through this template will reach. I do have here a QA test group, so I've selected this one. And next, I want to set the additional configuration for my deployment. As you can see, this configuration can be set at a global as a global setting for all groups if I have multiple, or you can set each setting individually per group. Considering I've just added one, I can choose my assignment type to be required or available for enrolled devices. Available for enrolled devices will not push the new version of the application automatically, but it will just put it in the company portal and the employees can pick it up from there and install the version of the app. I will choose this option just to show you another setting that we have available that depends on it. In addition to the assignment type, we have assignment mode. We can introduce additional filtering if we want a more granular assignment besides the security group. So let's see if I have some filters. I do have a test filter which I can apply. I can choose my configurations around the notifications. And this is the setting that I was trying to get to, is the auto update. This is a setting that's available for the apps that reach the company portal. If such apps have previous versions that were already installed by some employees, with the auto update configuration, whenever a new version is pushed in the company portal, it will be pushed automatically to their devices as well. So considering all these settings, I can just hit next. In the overview, I have here all the settings that I've created. And upon submit, I will have my template created and available here. Now, a template makes sense if I am actually going to apply it. So to show you how it works, I will just navigate to our patch catalog. You probably are familiar with our curated catalog of applications. where we have all these applications listed. I will pick up one. For example, let's just take GitHub Desktop, and I will create a subscription for it. So to create a subscription, I have different configuration that I can choose. First is the pipeline. We have a pipeline that's flexible. I can choose how far do I want to take my application. If I just want to import it in my blob storage, if I want to discover it by checking its footprint or DNA and all the changes is doing to an OS, then I can choose to go further and actually test the application. And the end goal of the pipeline is to get that application tested into Intune. So I will be choosing the export to Intune, so the full pipeline. In addition to this, if you want to incorporate your own corporate settings, you can also choose to wrap it with your own standards. We offer a standard PSADT templates, but of course you can create your own custom and choose from those. And now I'm reaching the Intune part where I have my Intune tenant selected. And here is where we surface the evergreen templates that I've just created. So I have here the evergreen productivity apps, the template I've just created. I can see that it's evergreen and it has one face. So I'll just pick that up and I will choose to subscribe to the latest version of GitHub Desktop. So I'll hit subscribe. And what happens now is the full pipeline is triggered with the sequences. So if I just navigate to see the sequences part, we can see that the pipeline has been triggered. Everything starts with an anti-malware scan. Then it will go and wrap the package with the template, PSADT template that I've selected. It will import the application. It will test it. It will apply my deployment template to export it to Intune with the settings that I've just set up. Considering that this pipeline will take some time, and conscious of time, I cannot wait for the full pipeline to get to the end and reach Intune. So because of that, I have prepared another application that I've just subscribed to. So if we just navigate to the subscription part and let's pick up Cursor, which is a very popular application nowadays, and we know that it upgrades quite often. I do have an already created subscription to Cursor application that was previously created. I can see that it was deployed to the same Intune tenant with a different Intune template. So let's see the deployment for it. So once deployment is triggered, you have the possibility to visualize it in our Workspace DNA platform here under the deployment, Intune deployments dashboard. I have it already filtered by the Cursor application. So if you can see here with this template, you can see the name of the template. I have 3 entries and we can basically check the different version of Cursor. So I had version 17, then 33, and now 38. So I can see how the application was patched. Let's just look at the most recent deployment for it. So this was the deployment for Cursor with all the settings. I had here 2 groups assigned. It was an automatic deployment and it finished successfully. So let's validate that. Let's just go into Intune directly from here. Okay. Just a second. This link, it should take me directly into Intune and into the application details, Cursor application details. Any minute now. Okay, so I'm in Cursor version 38 And under properties, I should see my assignments with the two groups that I had configured. And one very important part is the supersedence part. So being an evergreen template, we automatically configure the supersedence link from Intune. So we can see that it detected the previous version, which was 33, and it superseded it with our latest version. I can also visualize this in the relationship viewer, and I can see that I have these three versions that were also listed in my deployment. So it's 17, 33, and 38. So Intune got it. It has all the settings. It has the supersedence relation, and it probably installed it to that device for those users in the security groups that I already have configured. So let's see, because I have actually a VM where I have these users, and uh, I should be getting the application on the device. So let's check the notifications. If I were to check cursor, okay, so you can see here that I have the 38 version. Let's expand it. That's being downloaded. And then we can check that 33 was updated by version 38. And the last notification is the successful installation of 38 version, which we can also see it here as being installed in the programs and files. So I think with this, we finalize the whole loop from the point of defining a template, actually using the template, getting the application into Intune, and that application has reached the device with all the supersedence mechanisms and assignments. One last thing that I want to show you quickly is the fact that just to make the process simpler, I've shown you how a template is applied to a single application. But if I navigate again to my subscriptions and check here, for example, we can see that we have several applications that are subscribed with the same template. So if I were to change the policies of the deployment, for example, let's say the security team comes up and asks to deploy a specific applications to additional groups, I can do that directly from the Intune deployment templates. So I can change the groups from the Intune deployment templates. I can save it, and it will apply automatically on the active subscription. Even more, if I want to change the template for some of them, I can do it like in bulk. So I can choose to include wrapping and probably choose to use a different template. I will just update everything, and the next version of these apps will take the recent policies that I've applied. That being said, this is my demo. So James, back to you.
Awesome, Serena. Thank you so much. Let me just re-share the slides and I will bring us back. So thank you, Serena. That was awesome to watch, sort of bringing it to life there. So let me pull this back up to the admin's perspective, because I think like this is the bit that matters the most. What does the day look like once this is up and running? And the honest answer is there is a setup phase, and then there's everything after that. So the setup is really four steps, then done once. So discover the landscape, so map what's deployed, what each department actually uses. A lot of our customers have that available already. But once you have that, then you're able to start the subscription process. So catalog the apps that you want managed end to end. Then I can build the department template. So what are those apps that are required versus available by team, by role, the way my estate actually works. And then I can validate on the latest window. So that's one of the key parts of the Workspace DNA platform. It's not just about getting these apps into Intune and getting them assigned and building those supersedence relationships for you to ensure every user gets the update, but it's also about ensuring that every update that does get pushed is validated on the version of Windows that you are running. And we don't export any apps to Intune unless they have been validated first. So if the validation fails, then the pipeline is paused, giving you the opportunity to understand what went wrong with that application. Excuse me, I'm just going to choke a second. So, so you therefore know everything's been tested against the version everyone's running, and that's it. Like that's the work. Depending on your size, that could be a few days, maybe a week. But once you're done, you're done. And from that point on, Patch 360, Workspace DNA runs the loop. A new version's detected. I get a ping on email or Teams, so we have notifications available as well. So you see when a new version is released and starting to go through the pipeline. So email or Teams or both, whichever you prefer. The version is imported automatically, as Serena showed. It's sequenced, tested against my baseline. It's exported into Intune. The supersedence is linked, assignments are applied per the template, and the previous version gets unassigned so the tenant stays clean. Every app, every release on repeat. And that is what I want you to notice is in the verbs. In the old world, the verb is sort of the verbs are mine. So I package, I upload, I assign, I supersede, I clean up. I run myself into the ground. But in this world, the verbs belong to the platform. Mine becomes I review, I approve, I decide, I am still in the loop. I have full visibility. I can intervene whenever I want, but I am no longer stuck in it. And that for me is the real headline here. Patching stops being a treadmill and starts being a policy I just supervise. So on that, what is coming next is genuinely exciting, and I'm going to pass back over to Serena, who's going to walk you through that. So I will move the slide along, and then Serena, so you're closest to where the product is heading next. So would you mind?
Thank you, James. Before I just start with what's next, I want to mention something else that I didn't show in the demo. You're probably wondering how would you know when a new application, a new version of an application is released. Um, in our Workspace DNA platform, you have the possibility to subscribe to such updates. You can do it either via email or within a Teams channel. So you can always keep track of what's happening. Of course, besides checking the sequence and what's happening on our platform. So with that, heading over to what's next, what you've seen so far is everything available in production, but we're working on making the platform even more resilient. So we have um, not two, actually four things on the roadmap that are coming next. The first one is the multi-phase template. I've shown you just a single-phased template, but we are soon going to deliver the multi-phase one. So you will have the possibility to do the deployments in a controlled stages. Then next, it's the automated archive cleanup. Right now, the old versions are piled up. Intune allows piling them up to 10 versions. Versions older than that are cleaned up automatically, but we want to move towards a threshold-based cleanup. So you can tell us how many versions you want to retain, and we'll handle that for you. Then we want to offer the possibility to resume and retry the pipeline. We will offer better visibility into the pipeline itself and more control. So what we're working on now is just visualizing the pipeline in a very Git branching way. So if an application fails or needs customization, you'll be able to pause, adjust, and resume it exactly from where it stopped and start over. And the fourth one, I think this is the most impactful one. Is the next step in our workspace DNA validation pipeline, testing the application after Intune deploys them on a real Intune enrolled Windows 365 Cloud PC. So today, Remo 3 validates the app before it leaves the platform. It discovers it, packages it, smoke tests it, and then exports it to Intune. That answers did Remo build a working package, but it doesn't answer the question if you that did the app survive the trip through Intune on a real device? So that's why our next capability will close this gap. So that's it around what's coming next.
Awesome. Thank you, Serena. Very excited for all of those features. So we are actually over time. So I'm gonna try see if we can squeeze in one of the questions. So Ben has asked, how, like you mentioned, a disruptive initial setup, you said a week. Is that realistic for a large estate? I guess Ben's got a big estate that he needs to manage. Serena, what do you think?
I think for most customers, yes. The discovery and subscription steps are quite quick because patch 360 reads what's already in your tenant. The work that takes time is the template design, and that's time you'd rather spend once properly and then redo every release. We'll also pair you with our team during onboarding, so you're not doing it alone. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Can we take one more?
Yeah, let's go. I think there's a few in the chat. We'll take one more and then the others we will just have to go back to you all directly. So yeah, feel free to pick your favorite from the chat, Serena, or whichever
Okay,
one came first.
I think I'll pick the Windows 365 one because that's one of my favorite topics. How does the Windows 365 validation ring fit alongside the test rings we already run?
That's a great question. So really, it's really the way I like to describe the cloud PC testing scenario is almost it's ring zero. It is like in typical scenarios, you have your friends and family we like to call, so whether that's some dudes in IT, and then you have maybe app champions, app owners who will do some testing. Like this ring precedes those rings, so it's almost like it's ring zero, I like to call it. So Intune does the work, so it's almost like it could be the first phase in a multi-phased deployment of an app update. So Intune will target the Windows 365 Cloud PC that is registered against your Workspace DNA environment. So Workspace DNA knows what apps are already installed on that persistent Cloud PC. So let's say, I don't know, Google Chrome version 1.1 is installed and we've detected that. And we've got version 1.2 firing its way through the pipeline. And it gets to the point where it's exported to Intune. It's assigned to the groups based on the template. And within that first phase group is the Cloud PC group where it belongs. And the supersedence relationship is set up. And therefore, that version 1.1 on the Cloud PC is updated. We will then automatically, because our task runner agent lives on that Cloud PC, it detects the change in the version and it will automatically trigger the smoke test because it's detected that new version. And you don't have to do anything. It will happen autonomously. We detect the new version, we test the new version, and that is the green light for it to move to the next phase. So that's the plan. It's autonomous. We trigger the smoke test in a live environment. We prove that Intune is successfully updating the previous version. So that update is coming from Intune. So and it's coming from Intune onto a device that is enrolled in your Intune environment. that's joined to your Entra environment, and therefore you've got your policies pushed to that Cloud PC that is a best representation of your production environment. You could have multiple Cloud PCs that could represent different areas of your business with different baseline sets of configurations. And that is your proof point, your final proof point, your final green light to push it out to your real users. That's the plan. And I took a hell of a long time to answer that question. But yeah, that's the vision. And it's not that far away. We're close. Our Cloud PC capability is already in public preview and customers are trying it. And we will be talking about that in our next webinar in June. So look out for that one, and I hope to see you all there. And there's a QR link on your screen. Follow that if you want a real life, no strings attached demo of some of the things you saw today. And Misty has already kindly put some resources in the chat for you all. So that is it. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm so sorry we are 6 minutes over, but I hope it was worth it and impactful for you and your business. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great day. Thank you, Serena, and thank you, Misty.
Thank you.